Today was a good day. Today was a really good day. We started out in the morning, early in the morning. We did a lot of chatting. I did a lot of sitting, and we did a lot of talking, and we did a lot of work.
Let's try that again.
I really don't know what it is we're doing. I mean, I just don't know what it is. You don't know what it's like. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it takes you apart inside you. No idea.
I'm a dead Viking and I died of a broken heart.
I'm a dead Victorian lady and I died from consumption.
I was struck by lightning while riding a bison.
The afterlife is the afterlife. You know, it doesn't change much. But there's new characters, so seeing 100 dead people coming through the stage doors every day was one of the joys of this for me.
Creating the afterlife was actually a lot of fun because we talked about what the characters could be, presented them to Tim. He had his own kind of ideas of what could be in the afterlife and who could be in the afterlife. And then after that point, it was more about building them out and what their deaths would be.
And then Neil Scanlon, who did all the makeup effects and all the puppets, he was a key component because that was almost like the actors. He had to get into the spirit. They all had to get into the spirit of making things quick and fast and doing it low tech.
Tim's vision for this film in our first meeting was absolutely to try and achieve as much as possible practically. There's a lovely element about this film, and I think that it's what the practical effects bring to it. And what it is that you can portray things that on paper sound very horrific or really quite horrifying. But if you use the practical effects and the style that Tim works in, they actually become quite humorous and entertaining. I think it's exactly the way Tim sees the world. There's something really tangible and something that you can really hold on to and identify with real objects.
I think we're into 70 special characters, and then we have many more like background characters. So we have different levels of creature characters that Neil's designed.
The department I've collaborated with the most on this film is the creature effects department. We really interfaced with them in figuring out how all this stuff can work on people and they can wear it all day. You have to get it done really quickly, so you come up with ideas faster and sometimes in a better way than if you have a lot of time to linger over it.
Tim will do sketches. If there's a certain look that he envisions, he'll see a sketch of it.
I'm lucky to work with people that can interpret what my sketches look like. So yeah, I mean, I had fun doing that. Everybody kind of contributed. I did some drawings, Neil Scanlon, and just people did effects. It was like a contest. It was fun to kind of work that way.
From that point, we then commit to the making side of it, and that involves multiple departments, all who are brilliantly talented in their own way, it has to be said. They are all craftspeople in their own world. So, for instance, people who can make molds, people who can paint things beautifully, people who can put hair in, people who can make the under muscles, all of those things.
There's people in the film that you really have to zoom in to see all the beautiful perfections that our team did.
I'm a witch who's burned at the stake.
I am a dead tennis player.
I died from executive stress and perhaps maybe a little bit of the Colombian marching powder.
Any idea why my suspect wrote your name in this schmo's goop?
When Willem came in, we had a concept board which Neil had put together with Tim. So we had a rough idea of where he wanted to go. And then when I was sort of chatting to him, we was kind of sort of laughing about Hawaii Five-0 and Jack Lord. And, you know, and he was just like, that's kind of the essence of where I want to go, you know, with the hair and things. And, you know, I just want it to be a little bit fanciful.
I mean, my costume is relatively simple because I'm basically dressed like a 70s TV show cop.
It was very much a conscious decision to keep him just with this, like, American tan going on. Tim was very specific that he wanted to shoot him in a way that we were just like, are we in the afterworld? Until he turned around.
He's completely Willem Dafoe, and as he turns around, you realise that he's not completely Willem Dafoe.
That appliance was wafer thin, and I think we leaned heavily relying on Willem Dafoe's gorgeous cheekbones for that one.
He wears a slight amount of hair that's added to blend the two together, but other than that, it is literally applied to him. The rest is all him.
The effect that Tim wanted was for him to look more like, you know, the old-fashioned anatomical kind of dolls where you can take out the organs. There's a very definite look to them.
And action. Time to call the Ghoul Squad.
The Ghoul Squad, we had a really diverse group of actors, and so that was really interesting. They ended up being more of a, kind of fairground art, ghost train, carnival art kind of approach where everything's a bit airbrushed in these really crazy colours. And handlebar moustaches, sideburns, the works.
And remember,
gotta keep it real.
yes.
I'm Stevie Starr, the superstar wrestler, and I died with a chair to the head.
I tried to do sword swallowing and ended up impaling myself.
I must have been poisoned because I have no wounds.
On action, be looking this way and then see him. So on action, be looking over here, and then I'll say now to go.
Danny DeVito in the movie was Tim's idea from the beginning. He and Danny were talking, and Tim said, I've got a great role for you if you'd like to do it. And Danny was all in.
I like working with him because he's got a vision, He says you want to do something interesting. So I say, yeah, let's do something interesting. And like, it ain't a walk in the park ever, but it's a lot of fun.
Making Danny DeVito collapse. It was fun. It looked so simple, but there was a lot of research that went into that.
3, 2, 1.
It was a great collaboration with the mechanics department and model shop, and just working together with them. We had a good couple of weeks R&D on that, experimenting what's the best way to do it. We had a scan of Danny, and then we patterned his body. It was a fabric Danny, and we wired it. So there's a lot of sewing. So many hours of sewing went into that until he could stand. And then it was literally pulling them, like a Venetian blind. What an iconic thing to do. That's Danny DeVito, and you're collapsing him into nothing.
Start sucking his soul. Give him more. Open your mouth. Good. And cut. Excellent.
Bravo.
Couldn't be better.
My role is very much about body language. I felt a bit like a mime, and it was so much fun. Beetlejuice! I'm back.
Good.
We've been testing Dolores for many weeks, I think since I first started. There's meant to be something really beautiful about her, but quite chaotic, like what's going on behind, so we decided we was going to sort of do quite a lot of veins and things going on.
One of our biggest challenges was, without a doubt, Dolores's resurrection sequence. We were scratching our heads over that one, trying to work out, okay, do we film it backwards? Do we have several different prosthetic pieces with several different phases?
What we did before Monica arrived with us, we put together some videos of how she could assemble herself. It's all done as a practical gag.
We would create that sequence using doubles and run it and run it and run it and keep presenting it to Tim, and then Neil would tweak and fine-tune, and what we ended up with worked so beautifully.
And then when Monica arrived, she was game for anything.
I had to learn an entire choreography. It took 2-3 days to film it.
She'd perform it, but then sometimes we'd have other body parts there. So we did it almost like a live event. I mean, we added a few digital things to it, but the main part of it was doing it live.
I died in a freak ski accident.
That's by poison darts. I'm the parachute man. I mean, you've got 2 guesses. You're only going to need one.
3, 2, 1, go.
So Baby Beetlejuice, it was a difficult one to get right.
It's all about how to bring him to life.
And roll, please.
The animation and performance of that character is the one that tests us most, because you have to find something uneasily baby-like, creepy, but not too creepy, and engaging and funny. Louis Wiltshire, a brilliant concept artist that worked with us, did this lovely illustration of baby Beetlejuice sat on the floor with flies flying around him. And Tim immediately said, okay, I think we're in the right place. So we knew what he was going to look like, but then it was like, how are we going to bring him to life?
It's basically a cut-up doll that we used and re-stitched together. It's literally like, okay, let's go to the toy store and buy something and rip it up and make something out of it.
He's a rod puppet. We essentially take 3 performers. One performer takes the right, another performer takes the left, and another performer takes the head.
You want him to have that movement and a good movement. So a lot of rehearsals went into that to get that rhythm.
He spends a lot of his time crawling around the floor rather creepily. And so when we do that, obviously there are these people around it as well.
I don't see it.
And so it's a challenge because we need to be able to perform him next to the actors. And because he's a rod puppet, we don't want to get in the way of the lighting or their performance.
Everyone fell in love with Baby Beetlejuice. As disgusting as it was, everyone loved Baby Beetlejuice. I think everyone wanted to take one home.
I'm a belly dancer and I'm deaf.
I'm Mike and I'm the baseball guy who shoved a baseball bat through my eye. Stroke. Too much Viagra.
We love that Tim wants to do practical effects. It absolutely inspires us. That is the word. It makes the work 1,000 times easier because you're happy making it and you know what you're making and you more or less know what that final product has to be.
Working with Tim is probably the highlight of my career, I have to say. And I think it's more so because he's very gracious. He understands what everyone does. He very much lives in the moment.
We were able, as a team, to flex creative muscles that maybe we wouldn't get to do in another environment.
The unique aspect of this film, more than any film that I've worked on, I would say in the last decade, is that nearly everything that I know of that was written in the script has been produced as a practical effect and has been executed on the set as a practical effect as well. I would hope that if there was any success attributed to what we did on this project, it was that we stayed faithful to the original. It makes you laugh, it entertains you.
Fun? Yeah. Oh, lots of fun. We have a lot of fun. That's the thing. It's... By the way, I have to go.